Welcome everybody to this scheduled council meeting on the 19th of August 2025, which is being held in person at the council chambers at Civic Centre 25 Ferris Boulevard in South Morang. The meeting is also being live streamed. I am Councillor Martin Taylor, the Mayor of the City of Whittlesea, and I would like to introduce our councillors in attendance tonight. I also confirm that the meeting has started as of 6 p.m. I'd like to introduce Deputy Mayor Councillor Daniela Vizzini, Councillor David Lenberg, Councillor Deb Gunn, Councillor Blair Caldwell, Councillor Nick Brooks, Councillor Laurie Cox, Councillor Jared Lappin, and Councillor Christine Stowe. I'd also like to introduce our Chief Executive Officer, Craig Lloyd, and ask that Craig introduce the members of the Executive Leadership Team.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. So I'd like to introduce our Director of Planning and Development, Emma Appleton, Director of Community Wellbeing, Agata Himalevsky, Director of Corporate and Customer Services, Sarah Renner, Director of Infrastructure and Environment, Debbie Wood, our Executive Manager of Public Affairs, Janine Morgan, and at the table here, Executive Manager of Office of Council and CEO, Jacinta Stevens. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Craig. On behalf of Council, I recognise the rich Aboriginal heritage of this country and acknowledge the Wurundjeri Willem clan and the Taungurung people as the traditional owners of the land within the City of Whittlesea. I would also like to personally acknowledge elders past, present and emerging. I will now read out our diversity and good governance statement. At the City of Whittlesea, we are proud of our diversity and the many cultures and faiths and beliefs that make up our community. We strive to be inclusive, welcoming city that fosters active participation, well-being and connection to each other and this land. We commit as Council to making informed decisions to benefit the people of the City of Whittlesea, now and into the future, to support our community's vision of a place for all. Apologies. I note that for family reasons, Councillor Labrador is an apology for this evening. Acknowledgements. Firstly, there are two acknowledgements tonight. The first one is the Aged Care Employee Day. Earlier this month, as Aged Care Employee Day, this is a day to reflect and honour the incredible work of everyone involved in supporting elder people in our community. From staff within Council through to the many people across our city who play a vital role in helping our elder people live safe, health and connected lives, we thank you. Your compassion, commitment and contributions help create a more inclusive and caring community for our elder residents. Mr. Vale Kevin Lapoy Devin, our sincere condolences to the family and friends of Kevin Lapoy Devin, who recently passed away. Kevin has been a part of the Whittlesea Agricultural Society for many decades and was a familiar face to many. He was the grounds manager for many years, leading to the Show Trade Place team, and spent endless hours organising the trade space area for the Whittlesea Show each year. Kevin was the past president of the Society and was also inducted as a life member. Our thoughts are with all those who knew Kevin. Moving to declarations of interest. Councillors and officers, if you have a conflict of interest in any item on the agenda, you may verbally disclose the type and nature and interest now, and that you must also make a declaration immediately before consideration of the matter in question. Councillors, are there any items for which you have a conflict of interest to declare? No. Officers, do any officers present this evening have any conflicts of interest in any items on tonight's agenda to declare?
No, Chair.
No, Chair.
Thank you. I now seek a motion to confirm the minutes of the preceding minutes. Can I have a mover? The recommendation is that the Council confirm the minutes of the scheduled meeting held on the 22nd of July 2025 as circulated. The mover is Councillor Stowe. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lappin. I will now put the matter to the vote. All those in favour of confirming the minutes, please raise your hand. The motion is carried unanimously. Question time. Council allows up to 30 minutes for public questions, petitions and joint letters from our community. Public questions will be read out by the CEO's delegate and responded to by the CEO. Any questions submitted that are not in accordance with the governance rules are either declined or held over to the next scheduled council meeting. All questions and responses will be included in the minutes of the council meeting. I note that we have received 3 public questions. In accordance with the governance rules, no introductory or background statements in relation to the questions will be read out. I will now hand over to Jacinda Stevens, the Executive Manager of the Office of Council and CEO, to read the questions, and for the CEO, Mr Craig Lloyd, to provide the response. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Our first question is from Adrian Coppolino. The question is, what is proposed for the parcel of elevated land north side of the Granite Hills Parkland? The site is adjacent to 1 Bag End Court, Mernda.
Thank you, Adrian, for your question. The parcel of land you're referring to is part of the Bunjil-Nunga Parkland Quarry Hills, which is a 114-hectare park that spans the hills surrounding the city of Whittlesea. The parkland features walking trails and viewing platforms and is home to the Granite Hills Major Community Park, which is under construction, and the Aboriginal Gathering Place. With regard to the specific area you've referred to, recently there was some work carried out to remove weeds and some trees were planted. There are no further plans at this stage for this land other than ongoing maintenance.
Our second question is from Nick Brain. How much of this annual rate increase is attributable to charges, levies that have been imposed upon households beyond Council's locus of control?
Thank you, Nick, for your question. 65% of the rate notice increase is attributable to state government charges, including the state government landfill levy, and more notably, the introduction of the new state government emergency services and volunteer fund.
Our final question is from Eva Moran on behalf of the Outer Northern People's Voices Group. Could you please confirm that the rates for the new year will be increased by 3%?
Thank you, Eva, for your question. I can see Eva just coming in. Council has applied a 3% increase to general rates for the 25-26 financial year. This is consistent with the rate cap set by the Victorian Government under the Fair Go rates system. While the average increase in general rates across the municipality is 3%, the impact for individual ratepayers will vary depending on property valuations, which are undertaken by the Victorian Government's Valuer General.
Thank you. We now move to item 4.2, petitions. I note that there are no petitions. Item 4.3, joint letters. I also note that there are no joint letters. We now move to item 5.1, the draft strategic property and land plan, and I introduce Emma Appleton, the Director of Planning and Development.
Thank you, Mayor. This report presents a draft strategic property and land plan. The City of Whittlesea owns and manages a significant property and land portfolio. These properties support service delivery for our community and the achievement of long-term strategic goals as outlined in the community vision and the community plan. I'll now hand over to Amanda, our Manager of Strategic Property and Portfolio Development, to tell you about the draft plan.
Thanks, Emma. The draft plan provides a framework for how we manage our property assets. It guides decisions on acquisitions, divestment, leasing, licensing and strategic development. It presents 3 key directions. 1, aligning property activities with community needs in a financially sustainable way. 2, ensuring high standards of probity, risk management and regulatory compliance across all property functions. And 3, enabling sustainable and innovative property development and showcasing quality design. The approach presents valuable opportunities to optimise the use of property, reduce ongoing costs and unlock value for council and the community. In a financially constrained environment, when many councils are reassessing how to manage ageing infrastructure, underutilised spaces and long-term sustainability, this plan positions us to build financial resilience and achieve broader community outcomes. The recommendation today is to endorse the draft plan for community consultation, noting it will be presented to a future council meeting for approval.
In relation to this item. Do I have a motion for item 5.1? Councillor Cox.
I'll move the recommendation made by the officers in the papers.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Brooks. Councillor Cox, would you like to speak to the motion?
Just briefly, Mayor, I would just remind people yet again, this is a draft. It is a policy that we're exposing and being transparent. And this is opportune time for people to provide input to the council on the plan going forward. We don't always claim to be right. We often get criticised for making decisions without consultation. This is your opportunity to get off the keyboard and actually put some information on the table that's relevant. Thank you.
Councillor Brooks, as the seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Chair.
Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to the motion? I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Motion is carried unanimously. Item 5.3, 17 to 19 Johnsons Road Residential Development, Mernda. Again, I introduce Ms Emma Appleton, Director Planning and Development. Sorry. I jumped off my keyboard too quickly. Item 5.2, the draft affordable housing plan. Again, Emma Appleton, Director Planning and Development.
Thank you, Mayor. This report presents our draft affordable housing plan. Affordable, safe and secure housing is essential community infrastructure, yet the City of Whittlesea does not have enough. Demand is growing faster than supply and too many residents are spending more than they can afford on housing. I'll now hand over to Emily, our Unit Manager for Portfolio Development, to tell you about the draft plan.
Thanks, Emma. So the plan draws on the latest data on housing trends along with insights from our community. While the primary levers for facilitating the delivery of affordable housing lies with federal and state government, Council has a role to play to ensure diverse housing options are enabled to meet community needs. The plan outlines Council's role and priorities to increase the supply of affordable housing with the aim to ensure more people in our municipality can access the housing that they need. The plan presents three key directions. Firstly, research and advocate for greater investment, stronger planning provisions and the use of state-owned land to deliver more affordable housing. Secondly, partner and incentivise. We want to share resources, build understanding and support initiatives that increase the supply and affordability of housing. And finally, facilitate and deliver, using our role as landowner and responsible authority to deliver more affordable housing by securing funding, identifying suitable sites, encouraging well-located developments and exploring long-term ownership and delivery models. The recommendation is to endorse the draft plan for community consultation, noting it will be presented to a future council meeting for approval. Thank you.
I'd like to move the motion as per the officer recommendation.
Would you like to speak to the motion?
I would like to. Thank you, Chair. This country has a housing crisis and every day we have families without shelter. We will continue to advocate to the state government to access the underutilised state land in the City of Whittlesea for affordable housing. We are also advocating to federal and state governments for additional funding for affordable housing. that is high quality and well designed for our most vulnerable residents. We want to partner with the community housing organisations to better educate our residents on affordable and social housing, to enhance public understanding and foster more greater acceptance. I welcome the Council's plans to also strengthen the planning schemes to better negotiate developers' contribution early in the planning process. I encourage anyone who wants to learn more and voice their opinion on this extremely important issue to engage with the community consultation process, the period between the 25th of August and the 21st of September. It is a month. If you are definitely wanting to have a say on this, please go to the Engage page on the Whittlesea Council website. I work with a lot of people that are in social housing and I educate them on a daily basis, so I understand how important social housing is to our community. I do encourage again to join that consultation. Thank you.
Councillor Gunn, as the seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Chair. As pointed out, affordable housing is an extremely important item on our agenda. It is an everybody problem, no matter which level of government you work for. And it is vital that councils do their share of the work in being able to provide affordable housing to vulnerable community members. One of the horrific statistics in affordable housing and people facing homelessness is the number of women over the age of 55 that are becoming homeless. It's our highest growing demographic, and that's pretty tough. For women who have put in a life's worth of work in either the workforce or the home to suddenly be facing homelessness over 55. So I again endorse this plan for consultation, and again, as Councillor Cox pointed out before, this is a draft plan. This is vitally important that the community get behind it and have their say and provide any feedback that could even perhaps improve the plan, although it's a pretty good plan from our briefing. So thank you.
Are there any other councillors who'd like to speak to the motion? Councillor Caldwell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. For many Australians, I think that the Australian dream of owning a home or having access to safe and secure housing is becoming more and more out of reach. And while acknowledging this is a draft plan that's going out for community consultation, I do commend the council for being proactive in this space and putting some thought into affordable housing and social housing. Safe and secure housing is a basic human need, and if we want to live in a community that is compassionate, based in fairness and equity, then we need to be thinking about this and how we make housing more accessible for young people, professionals that are in essential services, people that are in low to moderate incomes, because that's what we class it as accessing affordable housing, is around that low to moderate income. And that's a large portion of our community. So I think it's important that we're thinking about how we address that and how we deliver housing stock that allows those people to enter into the housing market for the first time. There are some other aspects to this policy, and that's around the social housing and community-based housing. And I know that there are some myths that are held in the community that we need to dispel as we go through the consultation period. And I think some of those are around the idea of the deserving poor. So that notion of I work hard for my house, I deserve it, so therefore those people that find themselves in positions of hardship, it's their fault. And I want to dispel that myth. There, but for the grace of God go I find myself with a disability, I find myself unemployed, I find myself in a point of crisis in my life, and my housing then becomes unsecure. I think it's really important that we as a community consider those factors as we consider this plan. One of the other things that I've heard said is that it affects housing prices. The evidence is there that says it doesn't. It simply doesn't. And I yield as I acknowledge I've used up my time. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who wish to speak to the motion? Councillor Cox.
Thanks, Mayor. I think Councillor Cole has just expressed a number of points that I was going to make, so I won't try and repeat those. It is a situation that, unfortunately, there is a lot of mistruths and myths out there about what social housing is. And as someone who was a product of social housing in terms of the Housing Commission estates back in the 60s, many good people grew up in those areas and were very successful in life. Like any community, there will be some negative Nellies out there that will attack wrongly people that are under the circumstances that Councillor Cool just referred to. However, this is a draft policy in our area. It is something that this council has been proud of over the years, and one of the things that's in the new Epping development is a 15% requirement for affordable housing as part of that development, which council put into the permit process. This is a plan to expand on that, make sure there is good quality assets and good social planning to ensure the delivery of safe accommodation for people who may well be under pressure at that time. It's also a good thing that the community can show some empathy to its fellow residents over those periods as well. So this is a draft plan, open for comment, and again, I'll express, we're being transparent. This is your opportunity. Don't be negative. Don't just get out there and say the council's done this and the council's decided that. Get off your backsides and actually put some input into the process. It's up to you.
Thank you, Councillor Cox. Any other councillors wish to speak to the motion? I wish to speak to the motion. I support the motion as put re the draft affordable housing plan. Affordable housing is not simply a social issue, it's one of the greatest challenges facing our growing community. Whittlesea is among the fastest growing municipalities in Victoria. Yet too many families, seniors and young people are experiencing housing stress. In fact, more than 1 in 5 households in our city are struggling to afford a secure place to live. Without action, the risk of homelessness, disadvantage, poor health outcomes will only grow. This motion ensures that our draft affordable housing plan is released for community consultation. It gives residents, partners and stakeholders a genuine opportunity to shape the solutions before the plan returns to this chamber for adoption. Supporting this motion is about fairness, dignity and about responsibility to the plan for a sustainable future. The plan sets out clear strategies, identifies partnerships and ensures financial accountability while keeping community wellbeing at the heart of every decision. By endorsing this draft, we are taking a vital step towards housing security, opportunity and hope for the people in our great city of Whittlesea. I support and I commend this motion. I now put the motion to the vote. Councillor Zini. Oh. Did you just make you're voting? Right, okay. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand.
Point of order, Mayor. You
Yes.
did say, I'll put it to the vote.
That's right. Okay. Motion is carried unanimously. And now,
Point of order? Yes. I'd just like to declare that I'm distracted because baby Lappin's just walked into the building, and so I'd like to congratulate Councillor Lappin on the new arrival of his daughter, and but I have been quite distracted.
thank you. Well, let's face our distraction and move to item 5.3, number 17 to 19 Johnson's Road residential development in Mernda. And again, I introduce Emma Appleton, the Director of Planning and Development.
Thank you, Mayor. This report relates to a council-led proposed development at 17 to 19 Johnson's Road in Mernda. The site is the former Mernda Primary School site, which council purchased in 2015 for the purpose of delivering a future residential subdivision. Back in December 2021, council endorsed the subdivision sale of 35 lots, allocating 3 lots to affordable homes on this site. I will now hand over to Emily, our Unit Manager of Portfolio Development, to tell you more about the project.
Thanks, Emma. Improvements to the neighbourhood design have since been made to improve connections in and around the neighbourhood, improve safety of the public spaces through the orientation of homes, and improve safety of the public spaces through the orientations of homes and supporting increased affordable housing provision. The project is supported by a federal government grant to also deliver neighbourhood infrastructure, including street trees, water-sensitive urban design solutions, indented parking and connections to open space. The recommendation is to approve the increased number of homes delivered within the subdivision to 37 and the allocation of 6 of those homes as affordable housing. Thank you.
Councillors, do I have any questions related to this item? Do I have a motion for item 5.3? Councillor Lappin.
Thank you, Chair. I wish to move the officer's recommendation as the motion.
Thank you.
We
Do I
got
have a
there.
seconder for this motion? Councillor Stowe. Councillor Lappin, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, please, Chair. Thank you. And so first of all, I'd really like to point out the fantastic work the officers have done on this development. As stated, by improving the layout of the development, they've managed to create more lots, add more affordable housing, and overall improve the look and feel of the area. I think it's a great place for a residential development. It's just off Shotters Road there. It's near the bakery, it's near the recreation reserve, and it's also near the train station. It's a very walkable area, it's very green. I think it's a smart place for more housing. And just a quick shout out to the federal government, especially to Rob Mitchell and Minister Catherine King, for their support via the Housing Support Program, which delivered $7.1 million into this project. That's $7 million which council won't have to spend, and that money can now be used to support more like other projects and services. And so these grants are very important and needed to deliver the level of projects which our community need. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Stowe, as the seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this Johnston's Road development, I think, is a great development. It's a great use of the former Mernda Primary School land there in just off Shotters Road, as Councillor Lappin said. It's close to amenities. It's walking distance to the Mernda Town Square, as well as the Mernda Railway Station, which is really good. And there's also a portion of housing, affordable housing stock within that development, which is going to be also great because it's such a great community, and the layout is fantastic. I really like the way the work that the previous officers did to build such beautiful estates. So I commend this plan and this use of the land, and also thank the federal government, the state government for the grants that they've offered for this development.
Thank you, Councillor Stowe. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to the motion? Councillor Caldwell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. And I guess by speaking to the motion, I wanted to highlight and commend the council for its forward-thinkingness. Back in 2015, obviously, the land was purchased. I'm not sure what the plan was at that time, but obviously the community benefit was seen and viewed by the council at that period of time and acquired for this development. It's interesting that we are passing or moving this motion today while we're also putting out to consultation 2 policies, one around affordable housing, the other being around the land use policy that we have. And I think this is an example of where the rubber hits the road in terms of those items. So I think this is a great project, and I really look forward to it being delivered. This is an example of council walking the walk in terms of its commitment to social and affordable housing, with its component having those dwellings in there. So again, I commend the council for the work they've done. I commend the council for the foresight that they had in investing in that property and acquiring that land, and indeed how it applies those policies and has the policy frameworks that make these projects possible. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to the motion? Councillor Cox.
Just briefly, Mayor, it should be remembered, and I know Councillor Colwell's touched on it, the previous council and previous officers forward thinking in relation to this site. The school site, as I recall, in the 2016 period was subject to a long discussion within council in terms of post-acquisition, as to whether it was to be maintained. and there were options put on the table about selling the site at the time. I'm glad that we never did at that time, because it is now returned back to the community, a project that is actually going to benefit the community rather than just simply sell it off as a property acquisition. So again, I'd also say that the forward thinking of the previous council, as well as its officers in terms of maintaining that site and then giving us the opportunity to develop it the way it has been done. Also noting the importance of the federal government grant and the work of the local member, Rob Mitchell in McEwen, has all contributed to actually ensuring that this is going to be a great project for the community in Whittlesea. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other councillors wish to speak to the motion? I will now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Motion carried unanimously. We now move to item 5.4, 70W Regent Street and 2W Brickwell Lane in Mernda, the proposed partial road discontinuance. Again, I introduce Emma Appleton, the Director of Planning and Development.
Thank you, Mayor. This report relates to the proposed partial discontinuance and sale of the section of Regent Street in Mernda. A road discontinuance is the formal process through which a local government removes a road or section of road from the public road network. It means that the road is no longer considered a public road and its use for vehicular or pedestrian access is officially discontinued. I'll now hand over to Amanda, our Manager of Strategic Property and Portfolio Development, to tell you more about the road discontinuance.
Thanks, Emma. The section of road in question has an area of 264 square metres and runs parallel to Regent Street, the full length of Regent Street, so it is a very long sliver of land. The discontinuance is essentially a minor adjustment to correct the road alignment, ensuring that tidal boundaries are consistent and that we have a consistent cross-section of road for future road widening and upgrades along Regent Street. The proposal seeks to finalise the formal statutory process, which included public notice of intention and community consultation. As such, the report recommends Council form the view that this section of road is no longer reasonably required and resolves to discontinue.
Thank you. Amanda, is it the officer recommendation as presented on the screen?
Yes.
Councillors, do I have any questions relating to this item? Do I have a motion for item 5.4? Councillor Stoke.
So I wish to move the officer's recommendation as the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lappin. Councillor Stoke, would you like to speak to the motion?
I'll say something briefly. So this officer recommendation has come about from some surplus road. These things happen from time to time where we do need to make motions, bring it to council and make the amendment so that the public road is discontinued and then is put back into the land in a better use, if you like. So it's basically a procedural motion as far as I can tell.
Councillor Lappin, as the seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Chair.
Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to the motion? Don't know why I'm looking at the screen. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please
Sorry,
raise your
point
hand.
of order.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Cox, I didn't see you.
Sorry, I was just going to touch on it. I did have my hand up. You weren't looking. Sorry, being distracted. I was just going to make the comment. It may be seen to be a procedural motion. I'm not criticising that. I'm just simply saying that there is a bit of history to this. The Regent Street, it's around the old Findon Pony Club, and it's the taking over of that site and aligning the road. So I think it's important to explain often to the community that a lot of this material is exposed to us as councillors during the briefing process. So it's not seen to be just waved through. It's a matter of we understood the alignment of the road was necessary and protection for the expansion of that road. I do travel on it a bit, Regent Street, and it's a bit like it climbs the hill and ducks down the other side, but past the Pony Club, or the old Pony Club site. But again, those developments will take off in the future, but it's a matter that this has been fully aired and discussed during the briefing process. So it's not something that's just waved through. Thank you.
Are there any other councillors who wish to speak to the motion? I'll speak to the motion briefly. I would like to reiterate what Councillor Cox says. Every single item that's put through to Council on a scheduled Council meeting has gone through an extensive briefing to Council prior to its arrival. And as a result, I support this motion. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, raise your hand. Motion is carried unanimously. Now I'll move to item 5.5, suburb boundary realignment. Again, Emma Appleton, Director Planning and Environment.
Thank you, Mayor. So this report relates to a proposed suburb boundary alignment for Epping Lalor and Lalor Thomastown boundaries. Council received a request from landowners at 481 and 485 Cooper Street, Lalor, to be included in the suburb of Epping. Direct access to the site from Lalor was severed by construction of the Hume Freeway. The sites are part of the Epping Employment Precinct and are accessed from Cooper Street and Epping. A case was made that having an address in Epping also improved the alignment of the property's identity with other businesses within the precinct. Council officers supported the realignment to better align with strategic plans, aid in wayfinding for emergency services and deliveries, and to achieve compliance with legislated naming rules. During this review, duty officer review pertaining to these parcels, a further opportunity was identified to include 2 parcels that are part of the Merry Creek Reserve into the suburb of Thomastown. The land parcels are 190 and 228 Barry Road, owned by Deaker and Melbourne Water respectively. These parcels were also cut off from Lalor due to the Hume Freeway. The majority of the land in the Merry Creek Reserve is located within the suburb of Thomastown. Therefore, it makes sense spatially to include these sites and to amend the Lalor Thomastown boundary. The report recommends that Council support the realignment of the suburb boundaries as set out in the report. And noting the required process to have these suburb boundary changes gazetted, the report recommends that Council endorse community consultation to be undertaken to consider the realignment of these boundaries in accordance with the requirements of Geographic Names Victoria naming rules for places in Victoria.
Director Appleton, is the officer recommendation as appears on the screen?
Yes, it is, Mayor.
Councillors, do I have any questions related to this item? Do I have a motion for item 5.5? Councillor Cox.
I'll move the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Zini. Councillor Cox, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thanks, ma'am. During the briefing process, I must admit my initial feelings were against this in terms of the confusion. However, it is a practical outcome, and the officer's work has convinced me of the necessity of it in terms of location. It is basically an orphan package of land that's been stranded by the location of the creek and also the freeway. And my pet hate, we gave up land. People forget that when municipalities were realigned back in the Kennett state government years, we were the only municipality in the state that shrank. And we gave up the Camberfield corner to the City of Hume, which I'm always reminding the City of Hume colleagues about. But we lost that opportunity. But this parcel is located in that package of land and access way from Cooper Street, makes the majority of it identifiable to Epping, and the bottom corner identifiable to the suburb of Lalor. So accordingly, the recommendation is there. The work has been done, the background has been put, and it's going out to community consultation. So dare I say it, opportunity is there for people to make the comment. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, Councillor Zenni, as the seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, Chair, thank you. Just briefly as well, I'd like to echo what Councillor Cox has said about the land being an orphan between the river and the creek and the freeway. This also in lines, I believe, with the strategic plan on the Epping Activity Centre. So it is an important part of the area of our municipality to have this particular blocks of land allocated to the suburb of Epping. It is in the benefit of us having that for our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who wish to speak to the motion? I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. The motion is carried unanimously. Now move to item 5.6, Planning Scheme Amendment C275, Local Planning Policies Update, Planning Panel Outcome and Council Adoption. Ms Emma Appleton, Director, Planning and Development.
Thank you, Mayor. This report relates to Planning Scheme Amendment C275, which updates 3 local planning policies and the Whittlesea Planning Scheme. This amendment is at the final council decision stage in the Planning Scheme Amendment process. I'll now hand over to Kat, our Coordinator, Planning Policy and Implementation, to tell you more about the amendment.
Thanks, Emma. Thanks, Chair. Amendment C275 updates the display homes, materials recycling centres and medical centres local policies to ensure these land uses are appropriately located and designed to best service the local community. While the amendment will have minimal direct impact on residents in the City of Whittlesea, it will deliver benefits to the broader community as a result of improved management of issues such as noise, dust and traffic on surrounding areas. The amendment will also assist in the planning permit process for these land uses by clarifying the intent and preferred outcomes sought by Council. The report discusses the outcomes of the planning panel process undertaken between March and May this year. The independent planning panel reviewed 2 submissions to the amendment and made 1 recommendation on a minor drafting change in relation to the materials recycling facility local policy to ensure alignment with recent state government changes. The report recommends that Council adopt the amendment and authorise the Chief Executive Officer to submit final amendment documents to the Minister for Planning for approval. It also recommends the CEO writes to the Minister for Planning to support proposed changes to the Planning Environment Act that would streamline the process for similar low-impact amendments in the future.
Director Appleton, is the officer recommendation as appears on the screen?
It is, Mayor.
Councillors, do I have any questions relating to this item? Do I have a motion for item 5.6? Councillor Brooks.
I'm happy to move the motion as it appears on screen.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lemberg. Councillor Brooks, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Chair.
Councillor Lemberg, as the seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Chair.
Do any other councillors would like to speak to the motion? In that case, then, I will now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, raise your hand. The motion is carried unanimously. We now move to item 5.7, the Lawaldi Recreation Reserve Master Plan. Director, Infrastructure and Environment, Debbie Wood.
Thank you, Chair. Tonight we would like to take you through the Lawaldi Recreation Reserve, which is proposed for endorsement tonight, and we're very excited to present this to you, and I have Arish Deep, our Manager of Urban Design and Transport, here tonight to talk you through the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Good evening, all. The Lawaldi Recreation Reserve is an important municipal open space bordered by residential housing, a local primary school and a kindergarten. Situated on the southern eastern edge of Epping, it is within walking distance of Greenbrook Shops and Greenbrook Community Centre. Currently, the reserve provides a central lawn, cricket pitch, small playground and native vegetation. However, its potential is underutilised due to ageing infrastructure and a poor quality playing surface. In line with Council's previous resolution, the draft plan was exhibited for community feedback and received 71 contributions through the online survey and 2 in-person engagement sessions. Feedback was overwhelmingly positive, with 89% of respondents endorsing the draft plan and offering specific ideas for inclusion. Community priorities centered on upgrading the play space, introducing fitness equipment, enhancing public lighting, improving car park and strengthening sports facilities and infrastructure. Responding to community expectations, plan proposes a walking loop and improved park network, a multi-purpose half-court, an upgraded informal sports field, a new play space, enhanced amenities including toilets, barbecues and seating. Importantly, the plan also preserves mature trees, maintains neighbouring privacy and improves safety for all users. The master plan reflects Council's commitment to providing a safe, inclusive and vibrant public spaces that meets the needs of growing Epping community. I am pleased to present the final draft of Loyalty Recreation Reserve Master Plan for Council's endorsement and put forward the recommendations as per the report. Thank you.
Director Wood, is that the officer recommendation as appears on the screen? Councillor, do I have any questions relating to this item? Councillor Cox?
Do we have a data on the number of any number of submissions that were made from the community?
There were 37 submissions.
37 individuals. Thank you.
Do I have any other questions relating to this item? Do I have a motion for item 5.7? Councillor Landberg.
I'd like to move the officer recommendation as displayed.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lappin. So, Councillor Lemberg, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I think this is a fantastic opportunity for the Loyalty Recreational Reserve to be rehashed, re-envisioned. It's important for Epping. A lot of the residents that I speak to are very concerned about the age of some of the parks and facilities within the area. This speaks to that. So I'm really pleased that we're supporting this motion.
Thank you. Councillor Lappin, as the seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
Just briefly, Chair, I'm just saying the work that's gone into these plans, and not just this plan, but all plans, is absolutely incredible. So the work the officers do in this regard is really worth noting and really worth looking at, because this plan, when it came up in the briefing, I was really blown away by it. So just want to say well done there to the officers.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to the motion? Councillor Caldwell.
Yes, excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this is just another great example of asset renewal that's going on in the municipality. I think one of the things about City of Whittlesea is obviously the southern parts of the municipality are more established and ageing, while to the north we've got new suburbs coming online that has new assets, new parks, new public spaces. So I think it's great that we're keeping that balance in check in terms of making sure that we're renewing assets in the already established areas while also putting those assets into the new and emerging areas. So I commend the council, and I think this is, looking at the master plan, I think this is a great example of urban space being used for multiple different purposes and really meeting community expectations and needs. So I think it's great work, and I fully support the motion and the officer's recommendation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who wish to speak to the motion? Councillor Cox.
Thanks, Mayor. Just briefly, having raised my family in that area, it again is an opportunity for renewal that we're taking. It's very simple mathematics that we spend money on not only developing our infrastructure but also maintaining and renewing our infrastructure. This is just one of those opportunities. So we've seen a lot of that throughout our established areas, and Epping is now an established area compared to when I first moved into it. So it is an opportunity to reflect on that it's very easy, and a lot of commentary is often made that council raise rates and cost people money. It's a matter of, yes, we'd raise rates higher if we thought we could get better opportunity and better infrastructure out of that, but we're also very conscious of people's affordability to pay. So our projects are staggered over a long period of time in terms of developing for our new estates, but also the renewal of our older areas. So this is a responsible financial process that this council is applying in terms of that balance that Councillor Colwell just referred to, ensuring that we are maintaining facilities and renewing facilities for development. So it is a great master plan. As I said, the access points, we had some discussions about that during the briefing phase, and also the fact that we're going to have a public toilet in there, which is very important now in public spaces, that we get better access to toilet facilities, and the realignment of the cricket pitch on that area is also important. So again, I'd fully endorse the resolution.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who'd like to speak to the motion? Deputy Mayor Councillor Sini.
Thank you, Chair. When I first came to council, I didn't understand exactly what a master plan was. And then over time, I've actually learned that master plans do take a while. Okay, so there is the short-term, medium-term and long-term developments on this master plan. So I'd like the community to understand that even though we are endorsing this at the moment, it might take a few years before you get that toilet block. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Any other councillors who'd like to speak to the motion? I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Motion is carried unanimously. I now move to item 5.8, 2019-2, awarding of the contract variation for Conservation Management Service. Director, Infrastructure Environment, Debbie Wood.
Thank you, Chair. I'll just hand straight over to Amanda, our Manager of Sustainable Environment, to talk you through the report. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Debbie, and good evening. This report relates to the awarding of a contract variation for our Conservation Management Service. The scope of this contract is for maintenance services for Council's conservation reserves, including pest, plants and animal control, biodiversity improvements, fire and fuel management and some of our reactive services. At the commencement of the contract in 2019, the contract covered 48 conservation reserves, which totalled 500 hectares in both urban and rural settings. New residential development has been the main driver for growth in this contract, and the number of reserves has increased to 83, covering over 700 hectares of land. This contract is Council's primary service contract for the maintenance of our conservation reserves, and it's proposed that part of the extension option is taken, extending the contract by 19 months to the 30th of June 2027. To also facilitate this extension, an increase in the contract limit is required, allowing for that growth in reserves that will continue over the next financial year. The extension will ensure that the maintenance of public reserves can continue while we undertake a review of our contract for future tendering purposes. I present the Office of Recommendations as per the report.
Thank you. Councillors, do you have any questions relating to this item? Do I have a motion for item 5.8? Councillor Cox.
I'll move the officer's recommendation.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lappin. Councillor Cox, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thanks, Mayor. This is a process motion in terms of an extension of the current contract, but I think it's important also to just amplify what was just added. There is the number of conservation areas that we have been expanded dramatically. And again, this is something that Council delivers and is often not recognised on, is that we're trying to provide as much open space, conservation areas, public land sporting facilities, etc. They come at a cost, and I can't emphasise that enough. And this is being done as part of a review process for future conservation areas and public area management. And I believe that the responsible decision has been taken in this matter, that there is a review ongoing, and is also make sure that we are delivering or continue to deliver appropriate services in these areas. So happy to move the motion.
Thank you. Councillor Lappin, as seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, please, Chair. Thank you. I just want to say that as our council area expands, I think it's important to make sure we're looking after our natural environment. I think it sometimes can get lost in the mix. And so this contract ensures that our conservation areas get that continuity of care that ensures long-term goals are met and maintains our green spaces for years to come. So I really support this motion. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to the motion? I'll move to suspend for a period of 3 minutes from 6:55 to 6:58 p.m. Thank you. Recommence at 6:58. CEO, Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we've just corrected the slide on the screen to match the officer recommendation that is in the agenda papers. So that the officer recommendation on the screen now is correct.
So Councillor Cox has the move of the motion. Are you happy to accept the additions that appeared before you?
I was operating off my agenda and I wasn't looking at the screen, so therefore it is correct.
So you're happy to move as the motion appears on the screen?
Yes.
Councillor Lappin is the seconder? Are there any other councillors who would like to speak to this motion as appears before you? Deputy Mayor Councillor Zini.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to note that the commencement of this particular contract back in 2019, there was 48 conservation reserves that we're covering, and now we're covering 83. So it's doubled nearly in numbers. So this is why we need to have this extension, and I am in support of this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors wish to speak to the motion? I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. The motion is carried unanimously. We now move to item 5.9, 2024-65, Concrete Construction Reinstatement. Director, Infrastructure Environment, Debbie Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to hand to James, our Manager of Maintenance and Operations, to talk you through the report.
Thank you, Debbie, and good evening, councillors. Tonight we seek your endorsement to award contract 202465 for concrete construction and reinstatement works to the panel of supply listed within the report for the amount also listed within the report across a term not exceeding 5 years. Councillors, concrete remains a central component of our public infrastructure. It is the primary material used in our curbs and channels, in our pavements and our footpaths, in our storm and drain network, alongside much of the signs and street furniture you'll find in our parks and open spaces. In the past, we have struggled to attract suppliers willing to perform minor works on our concrete, but this contract aims to rectify that by having dedicated suppliers to both our minor and major works moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Wood, is the officer recommendation as appears on the screen?
Just confirming, yes, Chair.
Councillors, do you have any questions relating to this item? Do I have a motion for item 5.9? Deputy Mayor Councillor Zini. Do I have a seconder? Yeah. Deputy Mayor Councillor Zini, what is the motion you're proposing?
I move the motion as the officer recommendation.
Thank you. And I have a seconder, which is Councillor Lemberg. Councillor Zini, would you like to speak to the motion?
I just want to let the community know that we have been briefed quite a lot about this particular concrete construction and reinstatement works. I'm not in the trade, I'm not in concrete, but I have to say all these companies, the 9 that we have, is that 9? Each of them have been looked at in great detail, and their particular experience is going to be met, and we will be watching to see how their performance is. So I approve the funding arrangements for this particular contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Lemberg as the seconder, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor. I think when I was looking at this, the one thing that I was concerned about was the environmental consequences. And during the review process, I can honestly say that I am not worried about that any longer. We spoke about low carbon concrete being used where environmental conditions are suitable, and the use of recycled concrete mix. So concrete obviously is a huge carbon emissions issue, but I think that Council has taken that into consideration and come up with some alternatives as well. So I'm very comfortable with that now.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who wish to speak to the motion? I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Motion is carried unanimously. We now move to item 5.10, 2025-22, construction of the Pavilion Tennis Courts, car park and landscaping at the Hurston Reserve. Introduce Director Infrastructure Environment, Deputy Wood.
Thank you, Chair.
You'll speak on the Huskisson Reserve.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Very excited to be presenting this one again tonight as well. When we get an opportunity to upgrade our facilities for the community, it's something that we're really excited to present. So I have with me here Nick, our Manager of Capital Delivery, who will just talk you through the report. Thanks, Chair.
Good evening, councillors. I'd like to present this report on the contract award for the Huskisson Recreation Reserve Tennis Courts and Pavilion and Car Park. I would like to explain that the current facilities at the Huskisson Recreation Reserve were built and upgraded between the 1970s and 2004 and includes the West Lalor Tennis Club, which has over 500 members. And they also run inclusive programs for juniors, women, people with disabilities and First Nations members. More than 700 local kids take part through the school programs, and the courts are available to the public through a book a court system. The major project will deliver new multi-purpose pavilion, 6 new tennis courts with lights, 2 hotshot courts, heating wall, an upgraded car park, landscaping and improved paths and furniture throughout the reserve. The old pavilion will be removed, making space for more accessible and connected walkways, and early works have already commenced on the site with the provision of power to the site. Council endorsed a $9.8 million business case back in May 2022, and the recommended construction contract is $6.4 million approximately, with a forecast total project cost slightly more with the early works package that I mentioned before. It's recommended that Council award contract number 2025-22-22 to ISA Group Proprietary Limited for a lump sum of $6,439,513.79, and to authorise the CEO to execute the contract on behalf of Council.
Chair, can I just correct that? So it's $6,439,513.79.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That, Nick, created some conversation. I just want to let you know. Director Wood, is that the officer recommendation as appears on the screen?
Yes, it is, Mayor.
Councillor, do I have any questions relating to this item? Do I have a motion for item 5.10, Councillor Cox?
I'll move the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lemberg. Are you going to, you're the seconder, right? Councillor Cox.
Thanks, Mayor. As I've talked about earlier, this is almost the final stage of the Huskisson Reserve development. It's almost sad to say that I was probably here in the 70s when this was probably originally discussed as a reserve, but it's been, again, an opportune time for renewal. This reserve has seen some fantastic work done by Council in terms of improving the crossover of Edgars Creek, the park on Edgars Road, the lighting and the footpath access between Devaney and the back of the shopping centre on Kingsway to the Kingsway Drive. The old pavilion served very well, but has been long overdue for renewal. And I think particular congratulations to the West Lawler Tennis Club. They have battled on as a club on this site for many years. They've won some fantastic awards with Tennis Australia. They have improved access to tennis throughout the Whittlesea community, and again have worked with our officers and with respective councillors over the years to ensure that the reserve gets a proper usage and development for their sport. So the multi-use pavilion will be further out from where the old pavilion's located. The new courts, which they'll certainly be looking forward to, will be developed in between the back of the shops and the pavilion, and the pavilion will also have access for the other sports usage on the oval and also the car park development. So again, it's great to see an opportune, a master plan that was put in place many years ago, but an opportune delivery for this council during this period of council, and I look forward to seeing its completion in the not too distant future, and I'm sure that the tennis club will be very relieved to be there again on new courts and improving their sport. So thank you, and I move the motion.
Councillor Lamberger, second. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mayor. I absolutely reiterate what Councillor Cox has said. In the older areas, we need to upgrade our facilities. You've just seen the master plan for Epping, and now this is being put forward as well. I think that for the residents to know that Council follows policy considerations for each of these items, and something that really stuck out to me was around the economic benefits. So the project is expected to directly create 12 local jobs with flow-on effects. These are the sorts of opportunities that I think that are really important for our community. A couple of weekends ago, I went to Whittlesea Gardens in Layla, which has had a complete revamp. There were people playing there and families enjoying the space. That's what this is all about, is providing these sorts of spaces for our community where people can enjoy themselves, families, single people, you know, the entire community can get out there and enjoy these public spaces. So I really can't wait to see this built and in action. Thank you.
Councillor Stowe, I apologise. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I would like to speak to the motion. So I played tennis as a junior at Layla West Tennis Court, so possibly I was a beneficiary of Councillor Cox's work to bring it to fruition in the 70s. And you will also see my name on the honour board up there because I won one of the tournaments back in the 70s. So something very proud of. And I'm very excited for the people at Layla West Tennis Courts, because I know that when I was on council back in 2014, 2015, I worked with them back then as well. I think they've battled on, as I think Councillor Cox said, over the years. They've been there hidden behind the Huskisson Reserve with those shops that come along subsequent to when I played tennis, and that's what they've been hidden, if you like. So I'm very excited for this redevelopment. Maybe a bit sad to see the change, but it is kind of close to my heart because I did spend those teenage years playing tennis in the area, and the toilets back then we had to run all the way across the oval. So, and I think in 2015 we actually got a toilet installed in the tennis court. So it's very exciting to see it redeveloped.
Thank you. Are there any other councillors who wish to speak to the motion? Deputy Mayor Councillor Zini.
Thank you, Chair. Looking at these plans, they're looking fantastic. One of the things I'd like to mention to the community is that there has been some new pickleball courts added. So I'm not sure exactly what pickleball is, but I can't wait to get down there and watch. And also the fact that we are going to be looking at the environmental aspects of the changes up at that site. So looking forward to looking into that. So yes, I approve the funding arrangements for this, and congratulations to ISA Group again. Thank you.
Councillor, any other Councillors wish to speak to the motion? I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, raise your hand. Motion is passed unanimously. I now move to item 6, notice of motions. I notice that for this meeting there are no notice of motions. Item 7, urgent business. Councillors, are there any items of urgent business? No. CEO, do you have any items of urgent business?
No, thank you, Chair.
Now move to item 8, reports of council representatives and the CEO update. Councillor reports. I would call upon all councillors to read out their reports of activities since the last council meeting. Commencing with Councillor Caldwell. Would you read out your report of activity since the last council meeting, please?
Yes, Mr Mayor, thank you very much. So since our last formal council meeting, I've participated in Coffee with Councillors, which was on the 24th of July in Mernda. That was at the Station Grind Cafe, and it was a great opportunity to engage with some of our local residents and hear about some of the positive things around people taking pride in their community, and particularly around gardens and the natural environment there. I provided evidence into the parliamentary inquiry into fraud and corruption around local government, and that was very much on the 20th of July, and that was very much around how we as local government are looking to ensure that we've got robust systems in place that make sure that we're not susceptible to essentially fraud and corruption. It was an interesting experience, but well worth participating in, and I fully support the work that they're doing in that space. On the 28th of July, I also participated in the community plan, which most of us did with some filming, and found ourselves putting together a nice video that's been put out to community. On the 8th of August, I attended at Noogalbic Social Enterprise with Whittlesea Community Connections, and that was to see their nursery and the work that they're doing in the space, and I had a walk around the gardens and saw some really significant red gum trees. On the 12th of August, I visited the Callianack Reserve to have a conversation with some of our councillor colleagues around lighting in that space and how we can make some improvements there. And on the 13th of August, I attended the declaration of the polls for the Laylaw by-election, where Councillor Michael Labrador was appointed and sworn in. I'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our outgoing councillor, Steve Kosmeski, and the many years of service that he's had to the City of Whittlesea. I think he's been a great representative, and as much as it's nice to welcome in Michael as our new colleague, it's also a sad time as we see Steve, unfortunately, have to no longer hold the role as councillor for essentially, situation out of his control. I note that I'm out of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Gunn.
Thank you, Chair. I would also like to acknowledge the great work that Steve Kosmeski did when he was here as councillor. He was an asset to our team and will be sadly missed, and likewise I also welcome our new councillor Labrador to the team. It's been the usual busy month with all of the usual briefings and meetings that we attend. It was a great pleasure to also attend the tree planting day. When I arrived, there were about 100 people out on the hill planting trees. It turned out to be a great day. There was lots of information, lots of things to do, and I look forward to doing it again next year. As Councillor Caldwell just said, we did some video footage and filming for the draft community plan, and that was a bit of fun, having a little walk around near the dirt jumps in Doreen for me. But what it made me realise, and looking at the footage, is as an actor, I make a good councillor. There's been a lot of customer requests that I've dealt with for various reasons. One of the main ones has been Lauriesfield Draft Master Plan. Again, I'd like to reiterate that this is a draft master plan that is out for community consultation, and the fact that we are getting a lot of feedback and consultation means the process is working, and I look forward to seeing the 70-odd people at Thursday's community information session. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gunn. Councillor Lindberg.
Thank you, Chair. I had everything set out to deliver, and I had a call from a resident that said, you seem to go to lots of different parties and you get fed and you have a great time and you're not really talking about our concerns. So I'm going to start out with, I've been receiving numerous calls from concerned residents about trucks and commercial vehicles on resident streets, antisocial behaviour in public areas, and disregard for residents to enjoy their homes through repeat offenders for rubbish and parking. I absolutely hear you. I absolutely support you, as does the rest of council. These issues are not going to be resolved overnight. I know they're a bugbear, but we are onto it. Please continue to use Snap Send Solve and lodge issues using the City of Whittlesea customer portal. As a last resort, you can call me. Not as a first resort. Please use Send Solve app and City of Whittlesea customer portal. There is also a petition that has been sent out to the community for Maserati Drive and Findon Road, major hotspot. I completely support this petition through Better Deal Whittlesea, and I'll be out over the next coming weeks to be knocking on doors to get support for that as well. Other activities. I attended the opening of the Great Southern Bank at Pacific Epping. Great to meet Timothy King, Anthony Gasparo, Travis Allen and Michael Riley and the rest of the Great Southern team. It was a great event, so thank you for inviting us. Coffee with Council, I attended with the rest of my colleagues. Filming the community plan, ditto. There were so many bloopers, I only had one line and I managed to stuff it up. So well done to my colleagues who did a much better job than I did. I visited the Melbourne Arboretum in Mernda with Emma, Ricardo and Fawaz. Fantastic day or morning. Ricardo and Fawaz handled the situation beautifully and looking forward to a positive outcome for that. Finally, Scouts presentation. Kirralie and the Scout leaders, thank you very much. I attended this event with Councillor Taylor. It was a fantastic event. Thank you very much for inviting us. I'm done.
Thank you, Councillor Lamberg. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Zini.
Thank you, Chair. I attended the National Tree Day with Councillor Gunn and Councillor Lappin, where we witnessed the incredible work that Council has put into increasing our biodiversity and environmental sustainability in Mernda. I'd like to actually thank the SES who also attended and helped out on the day. I was welcomed at the BAPS Temple in Mill Park, where I did a speech to the young girls and children at the Balika Parawan, I hope I pronounced that right, event. Thank you again for your hospitality. I attended another meeting this month also with the Bundoora Community Outreach, the advocates in my community that are trying to establish some winter shelters and outreach programs to our most vulnerable. A positive approach towards reducing the impact of homelessness. And I'll also be working in the future with some of the bordering councils, Banyule and Darebin, to help support this initiative. The Mayor and I walked through Norris Bank Reserve in Bundoora with some council officers to check for improvements for walking safety and children's safety on the play equipment. So I'd like to thank the officers that attended there. I also did a speech at the July citizenship ceremony where I welcomed and congratulated residents who have become citizens of this country and have chosen the City of Whittlesea as their home. I also met with Minister Lilia D'Ambrosio to speak about council advocacy and the Mill Park and Bundoora community safety, especially the concerns regarding the Kelly Neck Reserve and the improvements to safety in surrounding streets of Rivergum and Blossom Park. Further to this, I did walk through with Councillor Colwell, as he mentioned, and our council officers and CEO at the Kelly Neck Reserve to look at improving the lighting there and respectfully getting that master plan up and running. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Stowe.
Thank you. I also acknowledge Councillor Kosmewski, former Councillor Kosmewski's work over the years, and I've had a long friendship with Councillor Kosmewski, and I've only ever known being on council with Councillor Kosmewski, so I'm a little bit sad, but also excited to welcome the new Councillor, Michael Labrador, to council as well when he's here, and when he gets through his family situation. I hear things are progressing kind of well. So over the last month, I attended, or we organised actually, a coffee catch-up in Donnybrook regarding Donnybrook Road, and Donnybrook Road is my number one concern, and getting that developed and making it double A's or making it more acceptable to the community. I think that Arish Deep and Janine did a great job, particularly Arishdeep. Thank Arishdeep for his work in talking to the residents, and really residents want to be heard, so that's why we ran the event, but I think they really appreciate it as well. So I think we should continue to keep talking and listening to our residents. I also visited Donnybrook Primary School to listen to their concerns. I visited Whittlesea Kindergarten as well as Whittlesea Community House. And on the weekend, I attended the Whittlesea Community House Misers cooking classes. So we actually got to sample the food, which was great. And that was a collaborative effort with a state government grant. And they also thanked the City of Whittlesea. So that was really a great afternoon. And in terms of local concerns, there was an accident on the corner of McDonald's Road and Pindari this week that was quite concerning. And it's quite concerning that McDonald's Road hasn't been handed over to state government. And also there was a machete attack yesterday at the IGA in McDonald's Road, and I also get a lot of requests to clean up the roads, mainly state government roads, so we should continue to lobby the government for those things.
Thank you, Councillor Stowe. Councillor Lappin.
Thank you, Chair. And so I attended the tree planting on National Tree Day at the Brunton Park Conservation Area there. There was lots of passionate locals there. I learned lots about the native plants we were planting, and also just had a really fantastic day outdoors. The team from council there were really, really good. They, did great work at keeping people engaged and educating why it's so important and that we look after our green spaces there. Also met with Gary Dorbar, who is the unit control admin at SES, and so I saw him last week, went for a tour around that unit and discussed, a few of the issues they're facing and sort of what council can do to sort of assist there. The area they cover and look after is absolutely massive. It's the entire City of Whittlesea area, and the work they do is obviously incredible there. And so I'll be meeting them tomorrow with the Mayor, and so we look forward to that as well. I also attended the Northern Homelessness Week Community Expo, and this was hosted in Brunswick by the Northern Homelessness Network, Marybeck Council, and also supported by Hume as well. And so this was a great way to sort of get to know which services were available for those in need and to help build those connections with those services and council. It was really well attended. The panel that spoke was fantastic and really brought forward the importance of the work in this space. And there were some of the services there which I saw in attendance which did not extend into Whittlesea, and so that's an area to continue to advocate for and to make sure we have all the resources we need up here for that. And lastly, I attended the Building for a Greener Future seminar, which is hosted by the Murder Neighbourhood House and supported by council. It spoke out simple ways we can build homes which are more sustainable, more efficient, and more suitable to Victoria's climate. Australia has some very low housing standards, so it was great to learn what improvements can be made and where to start. By adapting our homes properly, we can save more in energy costs, emissions, and just generally be more comfortable in our own homes. And so I know the team at Whittlesea has done great work on this space there, and so I just want to commemorate their work in that space as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lappin. Councillor Cox.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of subjects to touch on. I attended the Residents Association meeting in the Wollert Epping North area, along with the Mayor, and there was many topics discussed, but the incinerator is the major topic in the area at the moment, and I do note that the EPA is apparently announcing a decision or some indication on the 30th of August on a weekend, which is surprising, but we'll wait and see what that outcome is. I also attended the National Growth Areas Alliance again with the Mayor in Perth in late July, start of August. And again, it was an informative process because we had the opportunity to visit the waste-to-energy incinerator at Kawana, and it gave us a first-hand view of an operating incinerator. It probably hasn't changed my mind over the time, but others certainly provided the information that was good for us and if any future planning decision is made by us. I represented the Mayor at the Dyson's bus depot for the sod turn of the electrical bus charging station on McKimmy's Road, and it was well attended, including representatives from the City of Darebin. We had the Municipal Association regional meeting, and again, the Mayor was in attendance over at Hume, where we had a general discussion about the course of resolutions going to the State Council, which is due at the end of start of October. I attended the Lifestyle Community at Wollert and morning tea. I also attended the Southern Bank opening with Councillor Lenberg and listened to his first public speech very well. We attended the Tej Mala Nepalese Epping North community, saw the Mayor dancing, which was horrendous. But I'm told I'm not allowed to disclose that.
Well, given that note, I note the time, Councillor.
I won't talk any further about it.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Hank.
Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Cox. Councillor Brooks.
Thank you. In addition to the regular council briefing, yes, it's been covered before, but the filming of the draft community plan, I think it was a good experience for everyone. Yes, it makes us all realise what our day jobs really are. But it was good to see look at the finished product and all the work that goes into it. And I think it was, everyone should be very happy with the presentation. Also in August was the Metropolitan Transport Forum, and also the Whittlesea Disability Network briefing as well with the upcoming September meeting. Also noting that Coffee with Council in Thomastown is this Thursday at 10 a.m. at Track for everyone that wants to get along and ask me lots of easy questions. And also, just as a future one as well, as part of the Whittlesea Multicultural Conference Council Subcommittee, the next meeting in October is going to actually be held in council chambers, so it's an opportunity for all councillors to have a listen to that particular group and also for officers as well. So looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you. So as the Mayor, I also acknowledge Councillor Komeski's efforts and long service with the Council, and he will be sadly missed as a significant contributor to this Council, but I also welcome aboard Councillor Labrador, and I look forward to, as we all do, working with him. As the Mayor, I am extremely privileged every day and excited to see the significant work that councillors do within this council, and I commend you all for the hard work that you do. As Mayor, my activity and engagement report, which has now been filed with governance for the period of the 22nd of July to the 19th of August, and it consists of the following. I've worked 201 hours, that's 50.25 hours per week, every week. I've handled 459 emails, 35 customer requests, has assisted and liaised with our directors as they resolved 18 of those customer requests. Meetings attended, I've attended 12. Community engagement meetings, I've attended 7. I have attended 8 formal council meetings in which committees that have been placed on by council. I've handled 163 phone calls. I've travelled 287 kilometres and I've attended 22 events, most of which I've had the privilege of attending with my fellow colleague councillors. Some of the more notable ones, as Councillor Lamberg said, was the Scouts, the first Scouts group in Epping. I've also attended the community pop-up in relation to our community plan, specifically at Laylaw, soon as after the election had concluded. I've attended also the community bus tour with 12 of our seniors undertaking a tour of our facilities and the heritage issues within the city of Whittlesea, and I encourage everyone to look at that. And I also attended and cut the ribbon for the Bluefit Swimming South Marine grand opening at the pool party on Saturday. Thank you. 8.2, CEO update. I now ask the CEO to provide an update to both council and members of the public.
Thank you, Chair. The project to revitalise Peter Hopper Lake in Mill Park is continuing well, with several major milestones reached recently. Construction of the lake's new sediment pond is finished and the installation of a new rain garden is taking shape. The sediment pond has an important role to play in preventing pollutants entering the lake from stormwater, while the rain garden will improve water quality by continuously filtering lake water to remove excess nutrients. A gross pollutant trap has been installed that catches things like bottles and leaves, and the installation of a new pump station to support the water circulation and landscaping works around the lake will be completed later this year. And this project was jointly funded by the Australian Government's Urban Rivers and Catchments Program and the City of Whittlesea. Visitors to Laylaw's French Street Hall will notice the centre has undergone a series of upgrades to make it more inclusive and accessible. As part of that project, the kitchen has been enlarged to make it fully accessible for people with a disability, and a new kitchenette provides visitors with easy access to tea and coffee. The hall's accessible toilet has also been refurbished and now includes a nappy change table and shower. And the French Street Hall is a well-used council facility that is also home to the Laylaw Neighbourhood House, various social groups, adult learning, food relief, and a weekly community lunch. The project was fully funded by council, and thank you so much to the Neighbourhood House for the invite I had out there last week and the wonderful lunch that they put on as well. I'm very pleased to report that the construction of the West Wollert Community Centre is progressing well, with wall and roof framing now underway following the installation of in-ground services. Set to open in late 2026, the Jardine Road Centre will be one of 4 new community hubs in Wollert, and these offer kindergarten rooms and a mini branch library. Other features include maternal and child health services, consulting spaces, community hall, kitchen, meeting rooms, gardens and outdoor areas. The community centre will be built with sustainability in mind and includes features including solar panels, rainwater harvesting and permeable paving. The $16.1 million project is funded by $7.7 million from the City of Whittlesea, $8.25 million from the Victorian Government and $168,000 from Melbourne Water. And as mentioned by Councillor Gunn, we're currently consulting on the draft master plan for Laurie's Field in Doreen. It has been fantastic to see such strong community interest, particularly around how stormwater will be managed over the site and how we improve the health of the water. Council is inviting the local community to come along to an information session this Thursday evening at Brookwood Community Centre, where you'll be able to learn more about the draft plan. Consultation is open till the 7th of September, and community feedback will play an important role in shaping the plan. There's lots more information on our website. And just a reminder, this plan is still in draft form. Unfortunately, misinformation is being spread, particularly online, that Council has already made a decision, which is a little bit disappointing. It's quite simply false. The purpose of the consultation is to make sure we hear from you, the community, before anything is finalised and then present back to Council for further consideration. We're encouraging everyone to have their say on the range of options that have been identified and, of course, any other ideas that you may have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, CEO, for that update. I note that all verbal reports will be documented in the minutes. Item 9, tabled reports. I note that we do not have any reports to be tabled tonight. Item 10, confidential business. I note that we do not have any items of confidential business. That moves to item 11, which brings us to the end of the meeting, and therefore I formally close the meeting at 7:35 p.m. Thank you.